Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Catalyst webinar series presented by the Education Committee for the Southern California PGA. The Catalyst webinar series is a bi-weekly educational platform for creating success and change in your club and career. We've got club and career going on in a duality this morning. Ryan Pryor, assistant golf professional from Redlands Country Club, is with us this morning. Ryan is a grinder in the golf business. He's also the Inland Empire representative on the Southern California section board representing the Inland Empire. And he is also an entrepreneur. He has invented a unique and versatile golf towel that he's going to teach us about this morning. He's also going to talk about the entrepreneurial journey that he's been on in creating such a product. Good morning, Ryan. Thank you so much for joining us this morning on the Catalyst webinar. We're glad that you're here and we're excited to learn about the detailer.
All right, thanks for having me. All right, like John said, I've been an assistant golf professional at Redlands Country Club for the last 13 years, born and raised in Redlands. And today I just wanted to share my experience on the development of the detailer golf towel and how I made it a business. So hopefully I can show some insight just with my experience if anyone has ever wanted to take a concept and make it a business. So yeah, let's talk about how the detailer was created. As you can see in my slide here, it was actually drinking with friends at a college party, hoping to become millionaires. We were like, let's make a waterproof golf towel. But basically the towel is not waterproof, but kind of came up with the design in my head with different cleaning materials that isn't really ordinary on the towels on the market today. So after just kind of researching this idea in my head, this vision, I was actually able to receive a design patent on the detailer towel in 2007. And while I was attending the University of Redlands with business administration as my bachelor's, I was actually able to receive college credits while working on this business, which was cool because I actually transferred a different college every year. Surprisingly, I did play basketball in college. It's probably hard to imagine by looking at me, but I did play college basketball for a couple different colleges. So I transferred a few different times and had to make up some credits to get done in 4 years for my bachelor's. So, but while I was there, I was working on a business plan and bringing this product to market. And basically, I just began the prototyping phase. And I have some of the first prototypes of the detailer towel right here. So as you can see, very kind of generic and kind of comical. I was working with a manufacturer in China to kind of produce some samples. And
is that like a neoprene?
So it's a chamois, but obviously it's kind of ugly and yellow. And so we started emailing back and forth to kind of, develop a finished sellable product. So it started I was like, hey, can we make the chamois color, like a darker color? So then they sent me a sample where it kind of was like a gray. And I was like, that's pretty close. Like, I think we can almost make a finished product that way. And I said, can we make it darker, more like a black? So then they made one a little bit darker. So I started getting to the colors that I was wanting. And then basically we got to a finished product. Made a sample here with the PGA logo, but this is basically a detailer 1.0. So it was my first sellable product on the market. This version was actually about 10 years ago. And basically did pretty well just with networking with other golf professionals in the industry, getting into their golf shops. I was able to sell out about 2,000 towels within a year. But actually the business kind of was on hold at that point because I was just about to get married and I basically had to reinvest kind of the money that I made with the first order to keep it going. So yeah, the detailer towel was kind of on a 7-year hold, and then just giving some lessons to some clients at Redlands Country Club. They kind of heard my story with the towel, and they thought it was a good idea. So they wanted to kind of get it going again. So I started the business again about 2 years ago with a couple investors from the club. So basically started the business again.
So can you talk a little bit about, Ryan, before we go on to the next slide, can you talk a little bit about the process by which you not solicited support from the membership, but how did you get the membership involved in the financing of the product?
Yeah, so it was actually just a couple individuals I gave lessons to. But basically we kind of, it's me and two other silent investors in the company. So at that point, I started reaching out to different manufacturers to produce the latest version of the towel, and kind of went from there. Later in the presentation, I'll kind of talk about how, you know, the process of getting in contact with the manufacturers and to develop the product. So yeah, I think we're ready for the next slide here. Alrighty, so once you have your idea, it's good to kind of make a description page of your idea, maybe some sketches, and then the first thing you kind of want to do to develop your product is to see if your product is patentable. So in this slide here, you can file a provisional patent, which basically protects you within a year with, you know, finding manufacturer to produce it, to kind of get the steps in finishing your product. And basically, even if there's another, you know, product like your product on the market currently, it kind of protects you from the companies, you know, going after you for infringement within this year. So the costs with that, as I listed here, it's around $150 to $300, depending if you're filing yourself or using an existing company. The next one is you definitely want to do a patent search to see if there's an exact product like yours on the market today. So that way you won't be infringing on any other companies that established the product. So the cost associated with that is around $250 to $500, just depending with different legal companies and if you decide to do it yourself. So then basically I listed here a couple of the different types of patents. So there's the design patent, which basically limits your product from someone else making something similar. It protects your design, but, you know, someone can, you know, just change it up a little bit to make it, you know, a little different from yours, and they're still able to basically sell their product. So so the cost associated with that, yeah, around $2,500 to $5,000. Next one is the non-provisional patent, utility patent, which is definitely more expensive, but it protects your product with the exact how it is. So the cost anywhere from that is $5,000 to $13,000. Definitely has the most protection for your product. But basically, with my experience with this, if you have a product that you patent, you know, you got a patent and everything with the utility patent. If you don't have the money to, you know, fight the lawyer costs for if another company infringes on your product. So even if you do have a patent, you might see, you know, lawyer fees down the road to try to fight to you know, sue the other companies for selling your product. So basically what I did is I just got a design patent because it was like the lowest cost at the time, and I just, as a company, felt like I didn't have enough, you know, financial backing to fight infringement down the road. So yeah, so I think we're ready for the next slide here. All right, so you have the description of your product. Once you have the description and some sketches, you can start to contact potential manufacturers that are in your industry. if you can find out if the manufacturer is able to produce your product. So some manufacturing resources, Google search manufacturing suppliers. A really good one right now that I've used and currently using is alibaba.com. It basically, you just type in, a description of your product, and it brings up a whole bunch of different manufacturers that are in that industry and that could potentially produce your product. And basically, it's a very easy, there's a phone app with it. You can basically just email the companies directly, and they're very good at getting back to you and just, getting the process started of if they're able to develop your product. So then the next step, the prototyping phase, which you kind of saw with my early prototypes, it's kind of comical initially, but I think that was back then about 12 or 13 years ago. I think today with the technology advancements and stuff, you can kind of get this phase going quicker and with more quality with the materials and everything. But yeah, basically you're just emailing back and forth until a final product is established. And then once the product looks good, maybe with some pictures, you can request a couple samples of the product, which usually costs around $50 to $100 with shipping and everything from China. And then you basically can talk to the manufacturer with an agreement on a minimum order of producing your product. My minimum order for both orders were 2,000 towels. So quite a lot of towels, but and then obviously the more towels you decide to purchase, the cost will go down. So yeah, we're ready for the next slide here. All right, so you're getting your product produced with the manufacturer. You have a final product. You might have your product in hand. The next steps is establishing your business. You can establish your fictitious business name. I operate under the business name New Image Golf. I kind of stole it from my dentist when I was going to school in San Diego, where it's called New Image Dental. I was like, oh, that kind of sounds cool, like New Image Golf. So just added that. So basically, to file your fictitious business name, the business name you'll be operating under, you can file for an FBN application, which is around $100 to $150. You can do it online yourself, or you can go to your local Hall of Records county office for a very inexpensive fee, around $25 to establish that. And then basically you want to decide what type of business you want to be. There's a sole proprietorship, there's a limited liability company, or a corporation. I would say the least cost, but where you're the most responsible for your assets and debts, is a sole proprietorship. That's what I decided to do, since it's basically just me and a couple of silent partners. So you're the individual owner of all the assets and debts within the company. And then basically, but yeah, like I said, you're vulnerable to the tax auditors to come after personal debts and assets if you haven't been filing your taxes or haven't been paying them. So it's pretty easy. You just file a sales tax return at the end of the year, once a year, and you don't have to pay business operating expenses. With the limited liability company, it protects your personal assets if being sued and not able to pay taxes from the company, but each year you do have to pay around $600 to $800 per year for your operating expenses. So yeah, and then the next one is corporation. This is where you can have outside shareholders that have ownership within the company. Same as the limited liability company. Non-liable if they come after personal assets. Usually have a board of directors running the company, and it's attractive to get outside investors to grow the company. All right, next slide here. All right, so you have your,
Ryan, before we move on real quick, do you see your DBA changing as the company grows?
so yeah, I've thought about like adding different products to my company and um, just depending on how big it gets, but it's as me just kind of representing this one product. It's pretty easy just to keep it as a sole proprietorship. My product, I don't think has really any were potential for me getting sued as far as like injuring someone or something like that. Or so uh, cost wise and everything, you know, it makes sense for me to kind of keep it as a sole proprietor, and basically just having more control over the sales and everything. And but yeah, if you know, partnering, there's an option of like partnering with another company that has different products that kind of work together. Yeah, at this stage, just I think the market's kind of saturated with other golf accessories out there. So to try to compete with them with other products, I just kind of decided to kind of stick with this one product being different from the other towels on the market. So, but you never know. We'll see. All right. So you've established your business. You have your product in hand. Um, your next steps are, deciding how much you want to spend with marketing and kind of website costs. Um, so the cost can kind of fluctuate with this, with getting like a website. I've worked with a couple different website designers, and the cost can be anywhere from $2,500 to $5,000 just to have a website, and then you have to kind of factor in those hosting server fees. But fortunately, there's a lot of companies I'm sure everyone's kind of heard of, like GoDaddy, Wix, Hostinger, Site 21, that basically kind of give you some different templates of websites you can use to sell your product online. And so basically I've used GoDaddy, which is about $299 a year to use, to basically be able to sell the product online. So, and then my website address is newimagegolf.com. So if you want to check that out sometime, it's kind of a basic template, but kind of was able to make it look attractive with hiring some people to do some pictures of the towel and posting them up on the website. So then you can do also online marketing, obviously, like tons of opportunities with different costs. You can start with Facebook ads, Instagram. You can use other online marketing companies to sell your towel. Basically with me, like I kind of have an advantage just by being in the industry. I network and meet, different golf professionals every day, just, by being on the board of the Southern California PGA, and just, playing in tournaments and meeting everyone. So, I've been able to basically just kind of use personal selling marketing, just by, meeting people and getting the towel into their golf shops. So, all right. And then basically, like if you're deciding to try to find, develop a logo, and do some promotional materials to kind of go along with your product, your costs are anywhere from $25 to $100 for promotional materials. I do have I don't know if everyone can see it, like a hang tag I've used. It's called, kind of looks like this, and it kind of gives the steps of how to use the golf towel. So basically, I just kind of put that on the towel, and it kind of hangs from the hook on some racks in the golf shop there. So, but pretty minimal costs on developing promotional materials with your product.
Now, Ryan, do you sell this? Do you sell this? To,
can you say that one more time, John?
do you sell this to consumers at all through the website?
You know what? I do. I have been. I probably need to invest in kind of getting my towel on some ads and stuff. I haven't really done that yet. So most of my sales have just been through like personal networking with other golf professionals in the industry. I've had some sales go through the website, but at this point, yeah, I need to kind of decide if I do want to make that investment to just kind of get the product more noticeable online for sure.
Next slide.
Yeah,
Oh, oh, oh.
cool. So yeah, so kind of what's currently happening now with the detailer golf towel. We have them in about 15 different golf shops around the area in Southern California. You know, embroidering the club logo on the towels, which makes it look pretty cool, pretty nice. I was able to find a local embroidery person. She does a really good job. She does it out of her house, which is nice because I can kind of keep the logo digitizing fees cost down. It's really only, you know, $10 to take any logo and make it an embroidery file to embroider on the golf towels. And then, you know, the turnaround's really good with her. So that's really nice to kind of work to find someone like that. We did a little tournament for actually, I'm on staff with Strixon Cleveland Zexio, and I was able to do like a 160 towel order with their logo for one of their vendor tournaments, and kind of made a turnaround in about a week and a half. So it's kind of nice to have someone that I know with embroidery to kind of get stuff done pretty quickly. But yeah, another kind of cool thing that I've done with this towel is, you know, member guest tournaments, charity tournaments, you know, businesses that, you know, want to put their business logo on them to hand out the towel to business clients to use and just kind of market their name. So I've had some experience with that. So yeah, I think the next steps for me is to kind of, I actually am working on a version 3.0 with the magnet at the top. That's kind of been the latest attraction with the other towels out there on the market, is having a magnet so you can pick it up with the golf club or the putter. So in the process of finding a manufacturer for the 3.0, which is cool. Yeah, that's kind of what's currently going on with the business right now. All right, so some of the features and benefits of the detailer towel. The detailer towel is composed of 3 different materials. There is a double layer microfiber material at the bottom of the towel, which you wet the bottom of the towel, and it basically it stays wet through the whole golf round since it's pretty thick. So you wash the club first at the bottom, and then you can use the abrasive scrubber pad, the little gray scrubber pad just above that, to kind of go the extra step in cleaning the grooves of the club, getting the dirt out of the grooves, and really nice material on if you're practicing on artificial golf ranges. Gets the green artificial grass off really well with that scrubber pad. And what's nice, it's rough enough to clean the club without really like hurting the club head, without scratching the club head. So, and then the material above that, the black chamois material, I would say this material is kind of the really good drying material and kind of different from any of the towels on the market. The chamois kind of, you know, makes it that extra shine, and you know, I think everyone knows how a chamois works. Like, even though it gets wet, it could really like dry the club head well, and the grips and everything. So like playing in rainy days and stuff like that, kind of a really nice material to have on a towel. And then basically the backside of the towel is just all microfiber. So another good drying material. When I was thinking of this product, I was just thinking of, you know, what are the kind of the best cleaning materials to use to basically put into a golf towel. So these were kind of the 3 different materials that I was kind of envisioning in making the product.
So Ryan, the middle strip, that has enough height to it to get down into the grooves and clean them?
Yeah, definitely. And there has been some people that have told me like they'll actually wet the towel like halfway, like even above the abrasive. So it kind of helps with definitely getting into the grooves of the club to get the dirt out for sure. And it's not as, it's not as like abrasive as like a wire brush people use to kind of clean their grooves as well. So that's what's kind of nice. So it won't, won't potentially scratch up your club face using it.
Is that the last slide?
Yeah, there we go. So basically today I just wanted to kind of share my experience with developing this business. Obviously trying to market it a little bit, but just wanted to kind of focus on, the steps in creating a business, with taking a concept of an idea and kind of, making it into a product, a sellable product. So hopefully, it gave everyone some insight today on those steps. And yeah, if you ever have any questions for me, you can always email me at newimagegolf@gmail.com. And yeah, definitely.
So Ryan, not to use the term side hustle, but you're addressing all working men and women on this catalyst this morning. We all have full-time jobs. Can you talk a little bit about the dynamic balance between having a full-time career in the golf business, which of course is weekends, holidays, 50, 60 hours a week? How do you balance the entrepreneurial effort with the detailer and your full-time career at Redlands?
Yeah, definitely. So that's what's been kind of nice, like not being like super busy with online sales and everything. Usually what I do is if I'm working on an order for a golf course, a couple dozen towels, I'll kind of wait till that order's finished and complete until I kind of move on to contacting another, golf course to try to get another run going. And so at this point, I've been able to kind of do everything myself, just kind of in my spare time. So it hasn't been too much time with selling the towel. And yeah, because it could definitely get a little bit overwhelming with, we know how busy we are as golf professionals in this industry. But fortunately, it's kind of moved at a nice, solid pace to where I can, definitely just on my days off or even at, and, my local embroidery person like lives right down the street from me. So yeah, if I get an order, I can just, get the towels, bring them to her, and, in about a week they're done, and then package them up and ship them out. So yeah, at this point, it's been obviously like I would like it to be a little bit more successful and maybe have a big, a lot more sales and more turnaround. But and if it does get to that point, I could look at, hiring some individuals to kind of fulfill the orders, or even hire a different company to fulfill the orders like Amazon or something like that as well, if it becomes more popular.
So Randy Shannon had a question. What patent did you start with? And have you stayed with that patent or have you changed the patent?
So I started with the design patent, which actually is only a 7-year patent on it. So at this time, the product is actually, the patent ran out. For me, if another company comes and makes a similar product, it's going to be, it is what it is. Like I was hoping to get into the market early with this design and kind of, run with it and see where it would take me. And like we kind of talked about earlier in the presentation, where if I did have an actual utility patent, which we saw the costs associated with that, definitely, I think it's a 20-year cycle for that. So it definitely gives you protection for a lot more years, but I just wouldn't have the financial backing to fight, with lawyer fees and everything like that, fighting infringement. So yeah, my goal with this product was just to kind of get in the market early and just to kind of see where it goes. And yeah, if another company decides to make something similar, which hasn't happened yet, fortunately, but then we'll think about maybe doing something else.
Well, Ryan, thank you very much for your time this morning and presenting on the Catalyst webinar. For all the PGA members that are on this morning's webcast, you will receive 1 PDR credit for joining and learning about what Ryan's been up to these last 13 years with the detailer amidst his career at Redlands. I didn't realize that you've been at Redlands for that long. I knew you've been there for a long time. I didn't realize it was 13 years. You're not that old. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this morning. Ryan, looking forward to seeing you in San Diego on the 23rd. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day, and thanks for supporting the Catalyst webinar.
All right. Thank you so much.